Here we are in Petersburg for the 4th of July. This is an incredible experience. Petersburg's a sleepy little fishing town of about 3,000 people, and today things are hopping. This is a really big deal here. Oh, it's just starting up. It's going to be a parade. It's a special event, and we're so lucky to be in town today, partaking in this little sliver of local flavor.
Petersburg has an amazing culture. It is full of fun-loving people. It seemed like the entire town came out, and then there were just games throughout the day, games that showed a century of creativity, including they had one where the fire hoses propelled chairs. They would just blast fire hose water into the chairs, and the chairs would run on down the road.
4th of July, this is the best 4th of July party I've ever been to.
You can do egg tosses, you can do
bed race,
and you can do a bed race.
What else?
There's also herring toss.
It's a herring toss!
And then it would have culminated with Brian in the log rolling contest.
So this is like the main event. This is the bull riding of Petersburg, 4th of July. This is what everybody comes for. The entire town's here, and there's a lot of excitement on the build-up. You have 3 to 5 seconds of glory, and the rest of it's just preparing and getting back out of the freezing water.
But it was all in good fun, and a great time was had by all. Both piers were packed with people, cheering, happy people.
The events have been awesome.
Awesome.
Petersburg rocks.
It was a good experience, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Different things. Makes it really cool, right?
Everybody was just happy and welcoming and introduced themselves, and there was no sense of being an out-of-towner. It was all very welcoming. Very sweet community. They clearly love their games, and they clearly don't take it but so seriously. It's a great balance of all the things. And it was amazing, and looking forward to the fireworks at 11 o'clock tonight.
Happy 4th of July from Lindblom Expeditions.
Here we are in Petersburg, Alaska, and it's a beautiful day in this small little fishing village. The commercial fishing industry makes up the majority of the economics and the backbone of this city. You can see here there's all kinds of different fishing boats and vessels. Here we have the Orion, and this is a purse seiner, and a perfect example of one. You can see that we've got the nets here with the buoys, and behind it a big aluminum boat. So what's going to happen is they're going to target a school of fish, and when they find it, they're going to put the net on both sides of the boat, both boats, and they're going to circle around the school of fish. And they're going to pull this drawstring at the bottom, which will basically trap all the fish inside the net. Then they've got these large hydraulic winches on the top of the ship there, and that's how they're going to haul up that big net, pull it onto the deck, and sort through all the fish and offload whatever they don't need and whatever is bycatch, and keep everything else within the hull of the ship here. Behind me here we have the Cora J, which is a long liner. When they go out to sea, they've got that open window that you can see there, and they're going to start baiting their hooks and throwing them out that window. And a line of about 1,000, maybe 2,000 feet long with several hundred baited hooks on it will go out that, and they'll drop one of those orange or yellow buoys out to mark the place where they've left that line. And when they come back, it's basically the same process in reverse. They'll pull in the lines. Probably on the other side, there's a big opening where they'll pull in all the fish, and they'll gaff whatever fish that they want to keep and bring it on board. Anything else that's bycatch, what they do is they'll flick the fish right off the hook there, and the fish will just drop into the water. and that way they're only pulling on board the fish that they're intending to keep. It's been an amazing day here in Petersburg, and we've learned an incredible amount of information here about the fishing industry and just the local way of life. And we can't wait to see what the rest of the week has in store.
This morning we made our way into Petersburg, Alaska on an absolutely glorious morning.
Beautiful fishing village as we came into port. Small, quaint, has a very genuine feel to it.
I'm looking forward to walking around and exploring the docks and meeting some folks and capturing a little bit of the life and culture of this old Norwegian fishing town.
I think it's a lot of fun getting off the boat and like exploring a town they've never been to.
Do you feel a little bit like you've stepped outside of Alaska and into another country?
Seeing the docks and like how high the tide goes, and also looking at all the older fishing boats and seeing that it's a true fishing town.
What I would like for people to be able to see is how to make pictures and not to take pictures.
Being able to fully connect with a place, as well as having some newfound appreciation for a technical skill that they had all along, they just didn't know how to tap into it.
I learned about the f-stop and how that can change how the picture looks.
You can learn how to construct an image rather than simply point and shoot and take a record of where you've been.
My real hope for today's walk is that when I see the students come away with an experience and realize that they've learned how to see something in a new way, in a way that they didn't even realize that they were capable of before.
Human culture is a huge part of any story of any place. So this is a really important stop on our voyage today. I'm going to start taking pictures because I see the sun is going to be taken away, and I like this contrast right now. What is it like to be a National Geographic photographer? You want to make sure that you deliver a really good story every time you go out into the field. Regardless of the subject matter, you always want to come back with a really strong series of pictures. So I'm going to take a little picture of him because he's so cute. But what does it say? Viking, Norwegian, right? You're starting to get this story put together here just with these little details. My role on the National Geographic Seabird is to be able to teach people about visual storytelling. How do you, in pictures, translate these magnificent experiences that we're having? Little more, little more, little more. Right there. Good. Now tilt the camera down. Right there. You see that?
That's the one I took vertically.
Exactly. Perfect.
You couldn't have gotten as close.
It's my goal that regardless of whether you're shooting with an iPhone or a Samsung or a point and shoot or a DSLR, right now there are just so many tools for digital photography. I want to make sure that what I'm teaching transcends your equipment.
It was really interesting just to see how our professional photographer works. She showed me how to use my camera better than I knew how to use it. She's helped me understand where some of my photographs have fallen off in terms of the settings. So it's been enormously helpful to me.
Thank you. Yeah, I was looking at it. What I hope you take away from this voyage, photographically speaking, is the idea that you don't just take a photo, but that you make a photo.
The National Geographic Quest made it to Petersburg, Alaska, an adorable fishing town with some serious Norwegian heritage here on Mitkoff Island. We happen to be here on probably the most exciting day of the year here in Petersburg. It is the Little Norway Festival, or Mayfest as they call it. It's a festival that's been going on for almost 60 years here in Petersburg, and I would go as far as to say it is the biggest event that Petersburg hosts. Because of its deeply instilled Norwegian heritage, this town was founded by Peter Bushman, who was a fisherman who settled here in the early days of the fishing industry in Southeast Alaska. And because of that Norwegian heritage that has lived on, the Little Norway Festival attracts people from all over Southeast Alaska, Alaska, and now that we're here, maybe even the world. We enjoyed a parade. We met some Vikings and even some Valkyries. We didn't win the herring toss, but we were pretty serious contenders here with Lindblad. And I think everyone enjoyed beer gardens and a really fun time with some local color and local flair here in Petersburg.
It's just wonderful. It's obviously a small town. The whole town comes out. It's a wonderful experience and a beautiful day in Alaska.
When it gets wet, a lot of, the bark on the trees, bark gets dark, it's really great, and the leaves shine with the rain. I love this light. It's not raining, it's spitting. This week we're in Alaska on a photo expedition. And what we do on these photo expeditions is we try and go out and approach the trip as if we were all National Geographic photographers. We had on assignment with National Geographic assignment for all of the guests on the ship, which was to photograph Petersburg. And we threw in a little challenge because we had nonstop rain all day long. Whether it's sunny or rainy, it's always beautiful in Southeast Alaska.
So today we're in the charming fishing village of Petersburg, which is really exciting because most large cruise ships don't have an opportunity to come in here, and we do. And it's a really great example of a thriving fishing community. Fishing really started to boom here in the 1900s when they started to use glacial ice to pack halibut and salmon and ship it down south. It does have Norwegian heritage, and we can see evidence all throughout town of that today.
I've been here for like 5 minutes, and the Norwegian heritage is pretty clear. It's so cool, and I can just smell the fish when you came in. Like, it's so cool.
Well, it's another glorious day in Petersburg on the Lindblad cruise. We did the 5-mile bike, and we discovered Sandy Beach. Lovely.
Yeah. It's just unbelievable. So far it's been great, but today, like, we weren't going to bike, and then we looked at the weather, and whoa, it's really awesome.